While our sponsor slides are still up, while we're waiting on the slide transition, I'm Caroline Goldsmith, Associate Director for the Charleston Conference. Thank you guys for hanging around for our very last session of this week. Our sponsor slides were up, and we want to again thank all of our sponsors. EBSCO sponsored that delicious breakfast this morning, and so they fund everything that we do, even throughout the year. So not only all the awesome things we get to do this week, the tote bags, the receptions, the food, but also our operations, our day-to-day operations throughout the year. So thank you again to our sponsors. So this is our closing session, and we'd like to welcome Gracian Chimwaza. He's the Executive Director for Information Training and Outreach Center for Africa. And he's going to come up now, and then after he speaks, we'll do our closing session, Poll-a-palooza, which will be a lot of fun. So thank you, Gracian.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. Well, I'm based in South Africa, and I'm glad to be here. I'm not sure whether I will be taking the award for traveling from very far to be here, but I think I'm in the competition. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm also a first-time attendee for Charleston. So I'm really glad that I was here, I got the opportunity, and I've been able to learn as much as possible. And I'll be taking a lot back in terms of the takeaways, okay? But I'm gonna summarize what I've learned from here and then see what I take along with me. And obviously, every one of you are doing the same, and you'll see what your takeaways are. Just from the onset, when I came here, I understood that this platform brings together many librarian, publisher, and the vendors who are providing services in the collection development work. And I understood also the fact that it is a conversation that has been going on. And listening to Katina in the first session, I really learned a lot when she talked about the fact that she realized that her vision was to bring together the vendors, bring together the publishers, and also bring together the librarians so that they can have a space that they can have a conversation. That was her aim, and it seems like she really has achieved that a lot. She talked a lot about the fact that right from the onset, when she started with a small group that was only 25 or so, right at the onset, she never realized that it would grow to this big. And this evolution has been really an eye-opener, not only for her, but also obviously for many of us. We are all here. And I'm sure for many of you that have seen it over the years, it has really been an organic growth that has taken some time in order to be able to achieve this kind of grandness. And she did talk a lot, Katina, about the fact that bringing this kind of platform was to encourage this conversation going on so that people can actually discuss about the libraries and what they envision, what they are learning in their kind of jobs that they are doing, and also what they would like to see going forward in the profession. So that really encouraged me quite a lot when I realized that, and when I had to hear that. But of course, when I actually attended the different sessions and see the kind of conversations that were going on in all these different meetings, I was not able to go to all of them, obviously, but the ones that I managed to go to, I realized that there was a lot of conversation. But one thing that actually I realized is the type of conversations going on. Although there were some agreements, some consensus on many things, there were also some disagreements that came along with different kind of schools of thought. But the respect and how it was done really got me going, and I realized, this is a great platform to have those kind of conversations. I also was kind of surprised, maybe pleasantly surprised, when I saw the exhibitions, the size of the tables for everyone, whether you're a vendor, whether you're a publisher, whether a big publisher or one small publisher. having the small kind of tables that everyone had, and those kind of environment that is given the conversations going on, I was kind of taken aback, and I thought, oh, this is quite interesting. For somebody who has last month was at the Frankfurt Book Fair in Germany, many of you will be familiar with that platform. It's humongous, it's elaborate, and many of the big publishers have got massive kind of exhibitions there, and it's quite different from what I've seen here. But I'm hopeful that many of the deals, the conversations, and also the kind of new things that were discussed in those environments are going to really bring new business developments at the different organizations and institutions, and commercially be benefiting for those who have put in the effort. One other thing that I realized and what I noticed is the grand networkings in terms of the platforms that were there. Not only were you looking at somebody across the table and having that conversation with them, but also getting to be introduced to many other people that you had not intended to actually meet, but you have now the opportunity to meet them. So that for me was quite encouraging, satisfying, and I'm quite happy that I got the opportunity to do that. But the big conversation in the room was the AI and its impact on the kind of business that we all do. And what does it actually mean to us? I mean, great opportunities, but great risks as well, as we have learned. I think this conversation went on this morning with the copyright issues, the impact of AI on copyright. Okay, what are the opportunities out there, and what are the risks that come along with it? And we saw the great opportunities, particularly at the time with the stopwatch, I think, discussions, with the premieres that we had in terms of discussions that were going on, new products, new solutions, vendors coming up with all kinds of solutions to the kind of challenges that we have, that we encounter in terms of could be it improving the experience of the users, or be it improving the actual products that we have or the platforms that we are offering to our constituencies. Those, I think, were all eye-openers, and it looks like there will be many that are coming in terms of solutions, innovations that everyone is working on. So in the next few months, years to come, I think we'll see quite a lot of solutions, products that are coming on board based on AI aspects and tools that are being built over the years now. So really that was quite encouraging for me. How the scholarship deals with the issues of plagiarism, the issues of machine learning, the issues of what do we do with paper mills, and all these kind of challenges that editors are working with at the moment. I think there's still a lot to learn on that. One thing that I can tell you, that whenever I'm in South Africa, whether I'm in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, or when I was in Frankfurt in Germany, I hear the same kind of conversations. The challenge is that it is global. It has kind of equalized the terrain now, that we are all in this together, whether you're in global south or global north, whatever hemisphere you are, in the east, in the west, the challenge is the same. How do we deal with this? I heard during the time of the conversation at the opening, many calling it a fade, many calling it a revolution, but I'm sure we can use different semantics to mean the same kind of thing. The challenge is there, and we must, as I heard also, that we must leverage it, we must embrace it, we must make use of the tools that are there in order to improve our businesses, our solutions, and addressing the challenges that we have. I think on that we are kind of agreed. How we handle it and the situations that we have in our terrain is something that we have to deal with. I was at a conversation that we had in Africa, and that was in South Africa 3 months ago, and the professors, the lecturers were now asking questions to say, are we going to be able to understand what the students are actually writing in their theses and dissertations, and where is it coming from, and how do I actually assess that? And do I know what contribution they've actually done in terms of the work that they've actually done themselves, or what has been done by AI? And how do I assess that? Do I have the rubric to be able to actually work with in order for me to be able to assess that? And that's become a challenge. You know, for many of them during the pandemic, they had to learn to teach online. And this was a new kind of challenge that they have had. But 2-3 years later on, they are now having to deal with AI. How do they embrace that, and how do they work with that? How do you have the referencing that actually work at an institution that they can go to in terms of the framework and the policy that will ensure that what the students are actually presenting to them is something that they can mark, they can assess, and really understand what is going on. The issue of plagiarism and the issue of predatory journals that are out there, that has always been a challenge for many of them. How do they address that now that we have thrown in this to them now that they've got now to deal with AI? The issue of tenure has always been a big one that really drives the promotion for faculty at the institutions. And the conversations are now, all right, whether it's open access or closed access or any of the sort, when we do our publications, what is the measure to make sure that the quality of publications is improving, one, and what drives the actual tenure and what drives promotion, and what is the criteria that they are using. In many of the colonial kind of inferred or influenced kind of criteria that they are using, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, where they have adopted the point that you must publish or perish, and the number of publications that you have will determine your tenure or promotion and all those kind of things. What does it mean now that we've got all this, and the data that I have on my data set that I have working with it, and what I can produce in terms of the papers, and the contribution of the tools of AI? How do I work with it? So those are the kind of conversations that I've seen in many platforms, and I heard the same kind of conversations going on here. And I think there's a lot to learn from that, as we push forward. My understanding, the way I see it, my view is that AI is here to stay, and we must leverage and work with it as a tool in order to improve what we are doing. I know there's been many challenges where publishers, where solution providers have said, is it here to replace us? Is it here to take our jobs? How do we go forward, and how do we embrace it? My feeling is that we can continue. Just when the photocopier came, we worked with it. When the printing and digital era came on board, we were able to work with the hybrids that we have produced with the print and what is available online, and the authentications that we have used in order to be able to work with that. We can manage it. And I've got a feeling, and I'm a firm believer, that we will be able to leverage and work with AI tools going forward. They will still need us as human beings to be able to understand the emotions, to understand all the other aspects that a machine cannot learn quite easily. So I am a firm believer that we can move on with it. It's been great being here and really listening to everyone and having the great conversations and enriching the knowledge that I have. And I would like to end by the fact that going forward, we are opening up also a platform in Africa that is going to mimic what has been done here, what Katina and the team and Leah and everyone has done here at Charleston. And we will be having that platform next year. We already had a pilot in May in Cape Town in South Africa. It's a beautiful place. Please, don't miss that. Think about it. Put it in your diary. The weather is good in September, and there are great things, just like Charleston here, historically, and many things that are happening. The Table Mountain is out there waiting for you. So if you would like to come to Africa and be part of the inauguration of the platform that we are creating that is modeled on what has been done here over the last 44 years, we are just starting, but we are learning a lot. The Visiole conference that we had in May was a great start, but we are going to be pumping up and moving on. The publishers, the vendors, service providers, the librarians are all welcome. You will, I can assure you, enjoy Cape Town. Thank you very much. It's been great having you and being here to learn as much as possible from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gracian, for sharing your insight and for traveling so far to be with us this week. We appreciate it, and we had a lot of international attendees this week. So we appreciate you guys traveling so far to come and spend this time with us this week and share your insight. So now we're going to do our poll, our Poll-a-palooza. So we're also going to announce this year's Swamp Fox winner. Darrell, are you here? Darrell? So he's our last year's winner of the Swamp Fox Award, the leaderboard winner from Whova. Do you still have your stuffed fox we gave you? I was going to say maybe like the Miss America crown that we have to take and pass to each. So we'll pass the fox. No, I'm just kidding. You can keep it. So James Rhodes was our winner this year. James messaged. He had to leave. He's on a flight right now. So we've congratulated him. The second runner-up was Anita Coleman. Is Anita Coleman here? And third runner-up is our former champion, Darrell. So congratulations. You're the only one here. So if I hadn't promised the fox to James, I'd give you another one so you could have two. Okay. So very active on Whova and in the conference. And Darrell, I was talking to him this morning, and you've been here since what, 1996? So a long-time attendee. So we're thankful for you. Okay. So there's the directions here at the top. We'll do a minute so that you can log in to join to give your answers. We also had a lot of first-time attendees here this year. And we were veterans and first-timers. Lots of librarians have hung around. Who remembers back, now we call it the closing session and Poll-a-palooza. So I know you remember this back when this was called the rump session, because it's at the end of the week. And then we said, well, that may not be a very flattering good name. So let's change it since I don't want to invite people to the rump session. Okay. Wait a minute more. So mainly librarians. Where's everyone from? Somebody's, can't tell what that is. Somebody's out in the ocean, maybe. Somebody's on a boat. See if I can see. I'm trying to see if this would tell me. I'm trying to see if this would show me more details. It won't. I was hoping I could zoom in. Okay, so a few people from outside the US are still here. So how many times? Oh, wow. Okay. This is my 15th conference. 15th. Okay, so a lot of first-timers in here. Welcome. I hope you were at our first-time attendee breakfast, but yes, welcome. We're so glad to have you guys here this week. Only 1% have been here 20 or more years. Are you that 1%, or has anybody else been in here 20 or more years? I know you have, Ramoon. I see you back there. And Miss Joyce. And of course, Darrell. Anybody else? All right. Well, we hope you guys will get to that point eventually. What's the best meal you had when you were here? Okay. Did you do Darling Oyster? Did you do the dine around? Who ate at Darling? The Darling. Did you do the dine around? Yeah. With John Lavender. They are good. 82 Queen. 82 Queen for 20 years has won the award for the best she crab soup in Charleston. 20 years straight. I ate there this week. They're very good. So Layla's and Daco. So you guys probably also did the dine arounds, right? Shrimp and grits, a Charleston staple. Low country staple. And the shrimp and grits, is that the ones from the aquarium, or did you get them somewhere else? Who had the shrimp and grits? Oh, they're not gonna, you did? At the aquarium? Yeah. Francis Marion catered that, so they did. That's their recipe. The best book you've read? Nexus. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's... Did anybody do the silent book club? You guys look like avid readers, all the books. Librarians, I hope so. Well, it was during lunch, so it was from 12 to 1, so it wasn't, I know there's some sponsored lunches and stuff going on, but it was just a quiet time where nobody was allowed to talk, where you could sit and read a book. Look, I'm a fan of that. Go in and sit down and be quiet and read. The funniest thing you've seen this week in Charleston, especially later in the day, in the evening, here at the conference even, we see some crazy stuff going on. A story I always tell that we laugh about was at the information desk here back when, before we didn't move to Gilliard until 2015. So we were here, the vendor showcase was here, all of our sessions were here, and we were at the information desk, and all of a sudden one of the elevators opens up. There's a gentleman in it. There's about 4 or 5 beer bottles on the floor. He's taken his shirt off, but he was still wearing his conference lanyard. So I wouldn't have known. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at him, and he's got this deer in the headlights look. And he's pressing the close door button, but it's not. And then he tells us he's been stuck in the elevator, but the elevator's been working fine. We've been seeing people coming and going, and the door finally closed, and he went on his way, but wasn't anybody I knew. But I'm like, take your lanyard off next time. If you're going to be in the elevator shirtless with your beer, take your lanyard off. We won't know you're one of us. Golf carts on the roads, that's a big thing. That's a big thing here. And they're street legal. We rented one time. And that was nice to drive Katina from here to the Gilliard. Yeah. Yeah. They're street legal. They're street legal. You can't drive just any golf cart. It has to have working turn signals. Yeah. I don't think the swingers are confused. I think they know right where they're at, and they like it. Are you talking about the sleeping turtle in the aquarium? Because there were several. There was one that there was some concern over because he was asleep. I believe so. I'll see if we can get it posted. So. Let's see. So, nothing. Oh, that sounds boring. Nothing at all. You just here. Ah, okay. Naked guy. Was this the Francis Marion? We're on the second floor. Where was this at? What hotel? On George. So that maybe probably a college student over there on George Street. It wasn't. I was going to try to give him a pass if maybe it's like oh goodness. All right. How did you like the Whova app? This was our second year using Whova. We've tried Cadmore, we've tried Pathable. So how do you like Whova? The thing I will say about Whova, it has a shorter period of time that they'll hold our content. So it's 3-month period instead of the 12-month that Pathable and Cadmore will do it. So after that 3-month embargo period ends, all those sessions will move over to our conference YouTube channel, be available OA, shareable, accessible to anybody. So that's one good thing about Whova. So a few people didn't like it. I felt like it was really user-friendly. I don't know how you guys, I felt like it was, the agenda came up, to that accurate time. It wasn't like you had to scroll and find the day and the time for the sessions. When I opened it, it was right where I needed it to be. So I'm a fan.
It's very mobile friendly.
Yeah, I like that. I was able to use it on my PC and mobile, and
It's less glitchy than the other
good,
mobile version.
good. Well, some of you are meh, but most of you liked it. What was your favorite session this year? We received close to 400 applications. We only have space for 42 in-person concurrent sessions. So I know it's a lot to digest, but it's also, you can go back and look at it later. Oh, I wonder who put the first one. But you can go back and it'll be available on demand in Whova to watch, and then after on our YouTube channel. So you can get to it all eventually. Go back and rewatch sessions you want to see again, watch what you missed. Long arm of the law. That's always one of our popular sessions, the long arm session. Okay. Now you guys know what to go back and watch. And of course, since 2023, the hot topic of AI. Only a couple slightly transform. Nobody said minimal or no impact, right? That's good. Let's answer that. May have their head in the sand, right? Is it more of a threat or an opportunity? Oh, that's interesting. There's so many neutral responses. So most of you think an opportunity, but not a big one. That's interesting. So based on what you've seen here this week, will you be implementing any programs or making changes at your library or organization based on what you've heard here or learned here? There's some people that are still thinking about it, digesting it. That's good. We've only got a couple no's. Most of you say yes, definitely, for sure. And a few are still thinking on it. What is the hottest buzzword from the week? Of course. Whack-a-mole. Erases large metadata collections. Guacamole. Guacamole. I love the design it makes. Words. Right. Did anybody in here buy a sweetgrass basket? She completely sold out. She sold every basket that she brought. So you guys, that was an incredible source of income for her. And she put 6 to 8 hours into each one of those baskets, more for the bigger ones. And she's been learning that technique, that method, since she was just a small child, and she's teaching her children to do the same thing. So that's amazing that you guys did that for her. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she was featured on Amazon in Southern Living. She has a permanent display in the Southern Living house that they've dedicated to her with her baskets. So it's amazing. But I was so happy that she sold every basket at that table. So making, we like to do trend spotting and trends. What do you guys think this time next year that we're going to be sitting here talking about? Maybe they're here with us right now. They traveled back and they're back from next year. There's pufferfish again. AI is still the biggest. They're in the center. It's interesting. A pineapple. Yeah. I kind of get that vibe too. What speakers or topics would you like to hear from? What do you want to talk about? What do you want us to feature? And of course, you can also email us and tell us as well. Ramon, you see, more health sciences. Yeah. This is the first year we didn't do the health sciences lunch. Noted. I see lots of topics. I haven't seen any speakers named. No authoritative voices you can think of. Teeny tiny. Now there's an idea. Well, if you came to the aquarium, you had your opportunity for a dance session because that was some awesome music, 80s covers, 90s covers, which I really appreciated. Somebody else is putting that in, or is that you twice? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Any advice or remarks that you guys want to make to close out another year? Any advice you have for us as directors? Changes? Yeah, we don't require them to add their slides, of course. We don't force it, but we do encourage them, especially for virtual attendees. I think it's helpful if they're not here when they are watching the recordings to have access to those slides. So that's what I always tell speakers, but of course it's up to them whether they want to share that or not. Yeah, the lack of snack today was not, that was a mistake. So I apologize. I was just as disappointed as you are. We have one every year. There's always the lunch, and then it was a mistake on the BEO. But we had an awesome breakfast this morning. Yes, let's say number the vendor tables. Yeah, the hotels do lower their rates and give, if you go on our website under the resources, there are hotels there that do a reduced conference rate just for us if you have our code. So go there, do not pay the regular rate. They will give you a discount, and they do room blocks for us. So each year we coordinate with them, and it's a lot of hotels in the area. Oh, glad you like the shuttles. Mr. Blake's been doing our shuttles for us for a long time, and it's the same drivers each year, and they're amazing. We usually do. In the past, we've had mentors at the first timers breakfast, and that didn't happen this year. So we will try to have that back next year, because I know that is a valuable resource to be able to talk to people who have been here and done it, to provide that guidance. There should be microphones at every session. In the salons, there weren't. Okay. They should have been, so I'll address that. In the past, we've done the in-person event and the virtual event a week or two apart. It is a month apart this year. It takes a lot of time to take all the recordings from the in-person sessions, edit those, get them ready, process those, get all of those uploaded for virtual attendees to watch, as well as we're also processing every recording for the virtual sessions and getting those uploaded as well to create that agenda, because there are going to be some exclusive virtual sessions that'll be in there as well. So we're having to merge a lot together, and it's overwhelming for our AV team and our tech team to try to do it sooner. To have the quality content and everything as it should be takes some time.
Well, I have to say, from a speaker's perspective, it's good to have time in between, because it's easier to budget 1 week than another week immediately after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're not full-time companies together, there's work that has to get done.
Yeah.
At the end of the year is a busy time.
Yeah. Yes. Katina was here all week. I'm glad she got to join us. And that's it for our poll questions. I don't know if we finished early or on time, but thank you guys again for coming this year. We're so glad that you joined us, and we hope that you'll join us for the virtual event. And we hope to see you back here next year. Thank you guys again. Safe travels, everybody, on your way home. Thank you guys.